And welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of the Bear breakdown, because there might actually have to be a part 3, because I think, Rhea, you're only through 5 episodes.
6. No, I got to 6. I knew I couldn't come on here today without watching 6.
Then we covered it, because 6 is all it's about. I need to know from you guys, episode 6, season 2, The Bear. Is that not one of the best things you've ever seen on TV?
It is. Well, go on. Sorry, Rhea.
No. Well, here's what I'll say is, Ange, I kind of got where you were getting. Like when we first spoke, I had only watched the first 2 episodes, and I think I was so excited it was back that I didn't realize in like episode 3 and 4, maybe it was end of 2 and 3, that I would spend a lot of time in Copenhagen doing apparently a travel advertisement for Copenhagen with absolutely no dialogue, which is why I love The Bear. Yeah. So, and then I had to watch Sydney eat food all day long. And I was like, I'm like, all right, could I just, so I wasn't, 3 and 4 didn't grab me. 5 was okay. 6 is insane. I have been in those family dinners.
Yes.
So I know it's nuts. It's wild, insanely great acted. I agree with you 100%.
And I know that you haven't gotten to episode 7 yet, so let me just put it this way: the great meal, and I say great, the heavy meal that is episode 6 is followed by a light dessert in episode 7, which, Angelo, just as a reminder, is Forks, which is a Cousin Richie centered episode where he goes.
Well, then I need to get that one.
You're going to love it.
He stages, which is apparently a thing. It's like an internship. It's a new word that I've learned. A stage is when you go and work with a different chef at the Avec, I guess it is, like the top restaurant in the world he goes and works at. So the 1-2 punch of those episodes of being able to sit with the heaviness and the insane acting and just this sort of emotional heft of that, followed by the feel good parts of 7, it really does make a statement as to watching these things in a binge format, which is something we'll talk about. But just in and of itself, one of the best episodes of TV and a great season of television. And something I wanted to ask you, Angelo, and you too, Rhea. Yeah. This is something somebody online said. This is a show about work that Gen Z might not be able to relate to because their relationship with work is different than this idea of work-life balance. This entire season is basically saying you can't have it. You could be excellent at work or you could be excellent at home. Really difficult to do the two. And I just know, and we were talking about it right before you popped on, Angelo, you guys had a top-rated radio show in one of the biggest markets in the world for 30 years. Right. And it strikes me that, I know just in dealing with you, Angelo, just the amount of prep work that goes into this that the people don't see. And this whole idea of service that, like, I put in all this effort. Do you find that on an elemental level, Angelo?
I'm not proud of this because I nothing took backseat to the job. Nothing did. And as a result, my son is a much better parent than I was. And the whole thing is, you make a decision at some point. You go, if I'm going to do this, I got to put everything I got into it. And Rhea is so much better at balancing that than I am because she is a great mom and Jay, in all the years we worked together, I can't remember a single time that Rhea Hughes said, I can't do it. No, I got this to do, that to do. She never did it. Now that I don't do radio, I'm good at absolutely nothing. And now that I don't have that career, it is not possible to resume a home life in which you are good at anything. So now I'm just playing out the string. But it's so true. And that is the theme of the whole season. Right. And they just executed it brilliantly. It was 6 is truly, if you never see another TV episode, see episode 6, season 2 of The Bear. Right. The Bear is the best thing on TV right now. And that episode is one of the greatest things you will ever witness. I don't even understand how they did it. Jack, how do you script shows?
Yeah.
How do you script so much overlapping dialogue? Some of that improv?
Some of that's improv, and what I'll say is it's easier to script that than it is to film that.
Yeah.
Because I have so you learn how to line produce when you write. Line production is translating the script into a budget, right? So you wouldn't put in like a kaiju attack midway through your discussion, right? But little things like if you have more than 2 people in a room, that increases the coverage, right? So if I have 4 people sitting at a table, I need to set that up twice as many times to make it feel real, because you're moving all around. So I had a scene once where I had 6 people at a dinner table. It was literally 2 nights worth of filming that you would think this is just a conversation. How is it so much effort? So when you expand it out and you hit at that level of execution, I know they talk about this as a not high budgeted show. And they picked their spots, I guess. But yeah, I have no idea from a direction standpoint how long that must have taken. That wasn't an 8-day shoot. That's a little mini movie right there.
Rhea said something a minute ago. Rhea, you said you've been at family events like that.
Yes.
Did they ever end the way that one did?
I will not lie to you. I will tell you, I was at an Italian family Christmas once, many, many years ago, in another life, 25 years ago. It was so awful that I went outside to get something out of my car, and I called a friend of mine who's Jewish, and I knew that they would be down the street at Champs because I was in Cherry Hill. And I said, in 5 minutes, please call me. You don't have to speak. I'll do all the talking. 5 minutes. Oh my God, you're stuck where? It's Christmas Eve night and AAA can't get there for 4 hours, and you're here. Oh my God. And I got up and I told my friend who I have boyfriend at the time, I said, we got to go get our buddy. We got in the car and I headed right to Champs, and he goes, where are you going? I said, we're going to drink off that dinner right now because it was the craziest dinner ever in the history of mankind. And it was his family. And he looked at me and he went, thank you.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Rhea, not a fan of the 7 fishes.
No, the fishes were fine. It was the rest of them.
There's a reason why there's 7 fishes and 7 deadly sins, guys. That's the way it works. All right. So, one of the things that we were talking about with the bear is that, if you had watched this week to week, if you had seen it, you might have checked out early on. Maybe not checked out, but there would have been a lot of buzz about, has the bear fallen off? Has it not been, is it not as good as season 1? Because of the fact it was all left as a single serving for everybody. It could be more novelistic. It didn't have to worry about a week to week drop of, we need to have a cliffhanger every single episode, need to keep people hooked. They could treat it as a more layered event. So on the other hand, how much fun was it week to week watching Succession, where every week we could sort of take each episode and really break it down instead of talking about it as a season. So it really does leave the question, which has not been answered by anybody in the streaming era, which is a better format, the full dump or the little drop. I don't know how to say it without sounding gross.
I will tell you, if you're watching with somebody like, I can't wait for Only Murders in the Building. Clark and I, it was the first show we began to watch together. So it, drops on Tuesday nights, 7:00. I make popcorn. We turn the lights off. We look forward to that. Mayor of Easttown, I looked forward to every single week. I'm watching the show Deadlock, which I love. The Australian show. I have to wait till next Friday for the finale. I find that I really enjoy it because a lot because of this show that we do. I'm watching so many shows. I'm like,
right.
Like yesterday, I go, I got to get to episode 6. And I'm literally having a barbecue at my house and I'm around the corner going, I got one more episode to get through and then I can enjoy myself. So I like the weekly drop.
Right.
Yeah. I've been in, it's at the end of the 10th episode of the season for The Bear. My wife said to me, now we have to wait a year?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a year. And I went, that is, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll pick it up again, but it seems like way too long.
Yeah.
So that's the argument for, handing it out week by week. But you're right that the storytelling, I mean, you're a storyteller yourself, Jack.
Yeah.
The storytelling is more effective when you can have it in one binge. So I'm edging toward binge over week by week, but urging them to come back a little sooner. You have to wait a year.
Yeah.
10 episodes in a year. Come on, you could do a little faster than that. Give us a little more.
Jay, is it because they don't decide to do second seasons now until they see the reaction?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it was the same thing that they used to do in network, where you get a 13 episode front order and then a 9 episode back order. They would wait to see how it did before it went to a full season and then a second season. The problem here is that you're dropping it all at once, so you don't know how it's going to go. I'm actually kind of reminded, and I'm super nerdy about this. So please, if you want to beat me up after the podcast, I'll take it. Comic books in the 2000s started getting the comic shop started to die. Nobody was buying stuff at comic shops anymore. So they would bind the comics together and sell them in trade, basically 6 to 12 issues all at once, and they would sell them at Barnes and Noble and bookstores. And it kind of saved the comic industry before the movies came along, because people would actually buy those. They didn't want to buy the individual episodes. The problem was the comic book artists and writers started to write to the trade. That was actually a thing that they would talk about in comic books. Oh, you're just writing for the trade, because they would write a 6-episode story with not break points like they used to with the cliffhangers and everything else.
This is the nerdiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Jay, I like, my eyes are glazing over.
I understand that. I have a point. Here's the thing.
Right
Listen, I actually regrew my virginity while I was talking about this. My kids have disappeared. But the point I'm trying to make is that I think you have to fit the medium to the story. So if it's going to be a novelistic story, you drop it all at once. If it's going to you guys
after the show, everybody, okay.
I just got to make a correction, because last week on a podcast, I did not correctly identify Cousin Richie, who is an amazingly great actor. Yeah. His actual name, I'll tell you, 3 name guys I never get right. Eban Morse Bachrach is his actual name. Okay. And when you see episode 7, you will see how great an actor he is, because you're going to completely change your opinion of him after you see the next episode.
Oh, I already love him, but I just wanted to say, after this episode, Angelo and I are going to tape a separate podcast where we're going to review that nerdy section of what Jay just did.
Seriously, we've lost most of we didn't have that much respect going in. That was awful.
What if this is the highest rated episode ever because all the nerds found it and we become super, it could happen. All right. Let's move along to something that has failed harder than my just comic book description. I'll just touch on this super quickly. Indiana Jones tanked at the box office badly. I have not seen it yet. My son has watched it, said it was very good. He was on a Disney cruise. He got to check it out on the cruise. It made $60 million. It'll make $100 million over the course of its first week, which you would think is not terrible. But the reported budget is $300 million.
Wow.
Which is insanity. It's insanity. My question to you is, The Flash has tanked as well. The latest Pixar movie has tanked. We have some heavy hitters coming in later in the summer with Mission Impossible, the Barbie movie, Oppenheimer. Guys, are movies done? Like, in all honesty, are we reaching a point where we're going to get to a place where movies are just going to be a special thing and not something that people do all the time? I mean, it feels like post-COVID movies are dying. Are they dead, or are they going to come back?
Rhea, take this first.
Well, so for me, I'm not a big moviegoer. I never was, but because I have a kid now, but now he's at the point where he just wants to go with his friends. So basically I'm there to drop off and give money, and that's it. So, I mean, I know what my role is. I'm an ATM. I really do want to see the movie, Indiana Jones movie, but I'll wait till it comes in my house and I can sit and watch it in my house. That's just me. I was never a moviegoer. I'm the wrong person to ask.
All right. Well, I'm the right person to ask, and I'll tell you what the answer is. I have the same rooting interest against these cartoon films, these Marvel movies, as I do against the Dallas Cowboys. All right. I want every one of them to fail, because at some point, the people making big movies, and I went to the movies 2 weeks ago, it's still a great experience.
I love it.
You gotta make movies for other people besides millennials. You gotta make them for the older crowd. You gotta make them for women. You gotta do the way they used to do it, so you get a broader reach, but not every movie is a blockbuster.
Right.
There'll still be a place to go to the movies if they make movies that people want to see, and not just for explosives or special effects. Stories. Tell a good story, and people go wherever they have to go to see it.
A very good point. And I won't get into the nerdiness of a 4-quadrant movie, but we got to stop with 4-quadrant movies. Maybe it's okay to have a 1-quadrant movie every once in a while.
I don't know what a 1 or a 4-quadrant is, and I don't want to know.
All right, let's move on.
Jay there.
Let's move on to the quadrant of England. What's in British Corner this week, Rhea?
So I was really excited about this one. D.I. Ray. It's on Prime. It stars, and I never get her name right, Parminder Nagra, who was in Bend It Like Beckham. That was kind of her big breakout role when, God, what is that? Is that movie like 20 years?
Older.
20 years ago now?
That's got to be like 90s, right? That was Keira Knightley.
And she was phenomenal in it. She's Inspector Rachita Ray. So basically, the premise of the story is she is a British detective of Indian descent, and it's all about the workplace environment, that there is a lot of workplace racial issues, but dealing with it from a female who's of Indian descent in Britain. And here's what I'll say is I really like her as an actress. I think she's very good. They went so heavy-handed that basically everybody in the British police department is insanely racially insensitive. Like, I'm going, not every single person. They were doing every trope that I think to try and promote this, to get in there. They gave her a case, and they basically said, well, you just kind of tick every box for us, and that was female, of a minority. And I don't think, I get it's a murder mystery, kind of interesting. She never smiled. She has a relationship with a white police officer who I liked. I thought he was really handsome. He loved her, and I still can't figure out why. He was pleasant. He was positive. He was fun. And after the first 3 episodes, I just found myself too depressed to watch any more of it, because but all the characters around her were interesting, and like her parents were great. His parents were fine. His sister was fine. The boyfriend. I think they were trying too hard to make a point about the inequality in a workplace, specifically when it comes to women and women of minority, that they went too heavy-handed with it.
The message got in the way of the story, is what you're saying.
That's exactly right. The message, and the person who wrote in the line of duty, which is fantastic.
Right.
They were heavy-handed with it, and I think there was something there. She's a terrific actress. I don't think she was given the chops to show it in this.
Rhea, I'm sure my people have looked at my wife and me and have said the same thing. She's with him. I don't know why. She's staying with him.
Tell me about it.
What do you got for us in Teen Corner this week, Rhea?
Again, I think there's Clark and I try to find stuff that we'll watch together, but there's not enough teen stuff out there that I would be interested in, because he's one of those Marvel kids, and Marvel, DC, all that kind of stuff. Then he told me that he watched Terminator 1 with his father, and he flat out loved it.
Of course, because it's wonderful.
Yes, no, but I said, I'm thrilled you love it. Will you watch Terminator 2 with me? Because I think Terminator 2 is even better.
100%.
And I said, And I go, and there's a teenage kid in it. Like, I'm like, you can relate to this kid, who's going through all this stuff with his mom, and and the change of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie. He couldn't believe how great, and those movies, what, are 30 years ago? I mean, how old is
84 and 91.
Yeah. I mean, I was still in high school. That's how long ago it was. He flat out loved both of them. Thought they were great. Laughed, thought the acting was, especially Terminator 2, because there's a little bit more humor in Terminator 2 than there is in the original Terminator. But I will say, like, people around my age who have teenagers, watch it with your kids. You'll be shocked that they like it. And it's available on everything. Prime with a subscription, Hulu, Max, and you can also buy it on Apple.
I used to do a bit in my act about Terminator, because when I was little, came out, I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I really wanted to see it. So my dad went and rented it. So he watched it the night before, and the next day he goes, "Okay, you can watch it. There's only one scene that you can't see." So we go through and we watch the whole thing. And at one point, Linda Hamilton and Michael Biehn have sex, and you see like a nipple for like 3/4 of a second. My dad's like, "All right, we got to fast forward through this." And I was like, "Not the part where he takes an X-Acto knife to his eye, Dad. That was all right.
No.
The 900 dead cops, A-okay. 1/2 second of nipple. We got to shut the whole thing down." It's American mindset. All right, Angelo, what do you got for us this week?
When I see a nipple for 3/4 of a second, I channel Arnold Schwarzenegger and I say, "I'll be back."
Oh my God.
Speaking of nipples, I decided one of my favorite sexy movies that I loved years ago is Fatal Attraction.
Love it.
And they decided to take a stab at this with a whole new version. And I want to see it. It's 10 episodes. So I got to check this out. And I checked it out, and it's really awful. And the reason I don't even remember where I saw it now. I got to look it up. Check out where Fatal Attraction TV is, Jay. Here's the reason I watched it, because Lizzie Kaplan is a terrific actress, and she's gorgeous. And I wanted to see how she handled the role of the sexy temptress that Glenn Close played in the movie.
Yeah.
And Lizzie Kaplan is completely not sexy nor attractive, and she's supposed to be luring this Dan guy, Joshua Jackson plays Dan, away from Amanda Peet, who looks much hotter than the woman that he's cheating on. It doesn't it worked in the original because Michael Douglas got swept up in the hotness, in the the flirtation, Glenn Close was amazing at that. Lizzie Kaplan did not bring the goods to make this work. So what I'm going to tell people, don't watch that. It's not that good. Go watch what Lizzie Kaplan was great in, Masters of Sex, Showtime. You know what premiered 10 years ago? It's still so good. Yeah. And it's never ranked as one of the better streamer, TV shows, and it's phenomenal. Watch Masters of Sex, and if you want, go rent Fatal Attraction, like Rhea's one with the Terminator. It's everywhere, and you'll like it. It's really good. The remake, 10 episodes of nothing.
The Paramount Plus.
I don't know why they did it. It didn't make sense.
What I love about that movie is what I remember about it is Al, whenever he would reference Al Morgani, whenever he would reference a crazy woman, he would go, "Bunny burner." She's a bunny burner.
Right. So the thing is, Rhea, the bunny is in it so far, but hasn't been boiled yet.
Right.
Okay, now you just gave it away.
No, but now I'm sad for the bunny. I wasn't even pleased for the bunny.
It was on Paramount Plus, which, by the way, if you get Paramount Plus, you can get Showtime for like $2 extra and watch Masters of Sex on Showtime. So it works out that way.
There you go.
We're a little bit over. So this last one I'm going to shelve for until next week. But I just want to say I have gone down a rabbit hole, to speak of rabbits. No burned bunnies inside the rabbit hole. You want to talk about nerdy stuff. I've been watching TV intros from the 80s and 90s, but not just like TV shows that you all know, TV shows that you've never heard of, because this guy has compiled like 1984, every opening to every TV show that premiered in 1984 in a half-hour block. I'm previewing this for next week. I just need to bring this up now. There was a TV show in 1984 called Partners in Crime that had Lonnie Anderson and Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, at the peak of their powers, to a blonde and a brunette. How did this show fail? I watched the opening of it. They're the two hottest people of the 80s. It should have run for 900 seasons. If you create a time machine, don't bother with Hitler. Go back and fix America by letting Partners in Crime run for 10 seasons. Thank you. We're going to talk about this at length next week. Angelo, what did we...
Your family needs to come home soon.
No. Yeah, I got to say this right now, Jay. If next week's podcast goes the same direction this one did, Rhea and I live will do an intervention. Because this whole thing's been a little frightening to us, Jay. I'm not going to lie.
I do need to say this. You're the first people I've spoken to in a week. So yes,
yeah,
I need my family home.
Watch The Bear on Hulu. It is phenomenal. And episode 6, season 2 is one of the greatest things you will ever see on television. You could see D.I. Ray on Amazon Prime, Terminator 2 on Prime and other areas, Masters of Sex on Showtime, Fatal Attraction, the TV version, if you want to see it, on Paramount Plus, and the movie Fatal Attraction, which is far better, is on Hulu and Amazon Prime.
Thank you so much, guys. If you like us, please rate and review us, share us with a friend. Maybe not this episode, but we appreciate you listening, and we'll be back next week.